All right, so we just gonna get some scenery right now in St. Paul. I might be kind of stopping and going and pausing just to save a little bit of time until I figure out this Apple Mac thing. So, you know, don't be surprised. In the midst of it, a couple blocks down here, and I might even be able to get the apartments here, but I remember there was a story that I was going to do, and I'm going to have to recap the story. But there's a story that I was going to do, but it's not on this block. It's like on a block up, maybe Concordia or something like that. But basically, let's see if I can get in. They're going to let me in. I don't know if they're going to let me in. I'm trying to decide, do I want to go and take that normal little route and just cut through Minneapolis, because I'm thinking about parking in Minneapolis. The last time I parked in Minneapolis was, do y'all remember that time when I parked in Minneapolis and it was the snowstorm, and I kind of was going through that same thing. Now, remember earlier last year, I was working on those buses, installing those cameras. Remember, and it's going to be kind of a toss-up, y'all. You know, we're going to kind of roll through different stories and different things and whatnot. But, you know anything about this fund, Nexus? Okay, $50,000 grant. Okay, yeah, that was... I'm going to email him. Matter of fact, he might be at the house right now. I might go and talk to him for a little bit. So, we might be getting that interview sooner than later. It's possible. I don't know. We might be getting that interview sooner than later. You know, about this whole thing with, you know, with the whole the dual citizenship thing and building technology abroad. You know, but I really want to wait until I get my Rodecaster together, and I'll just use my little Monocaster, you know what I'm saying? So you guys are going to hear this little thing making noise, so hopefully it ain't too disturbing. But anyway, yeah, when I used to do the installations, you know what I'm saying? I used to do that. I'm trying to be loud so y'all can hear me. When I was doing the installations on Metro Mobility, you know, like I said, I fell hard, y'all. I fell hard in 2020, 2025. You know what I'm saying? And, or 2024, earlier 2024. And so I had to go back into the lion's den. I had to go back into layer 1. So I had to work on site. It wasn't too bad with the environment, but then again, remember, folks were stealing my lunch and doing all this, all these things that I don't have to deal with when I'm working remote. But I had to go back because remember, I was declining all them hybrid jobs. I wasn't receiving my blessings. You dig? I wasn't receiving my blessings, man. So I had to go and I had to work on site. But we get past Central High School in Saint Paul. Now I never knew. I'm gonna be honest, I never knew anybody from Saint Paul back when I was coming up in high school. But our thing in Minneapolis was a lot of the women seemed to be a little calmer because they didn't really have to deal, so to say, with the violence and the murder rates that we had to deal with in Minneapolis and all that stuff. It just wasn't the same. You didn't have crackheads just littered across University everywhere. I mean, I'm not saying they didn't have them, but at 10 o'clock, the city shut down. And my homie D-O-double-L-A, I need to interview him, man. I need to call him. My homie D-O-double-L-A, you know, I start kind of moving around in St. Paul, kind of understanding St. Paul a little bit more with him because he was breaking St. Paul down in the studio and the politics and all that and how that worked. You know, I'm going to see if I can get that old interview with me and D-O-double-L-A. I think I might have it somewhere, and I'm going to post that because we went in. Even when the camera cut off, we was going in. He was the first radio station to give me some I'm gonna put his stuff up in the you know, the oh, this Lexington Parkway. I don't want that. Oh, that's Summit. Should we go down Summit? Or should we take Selby? I was gonna show y'all Summit real quick. Man, I think I'm about to go down Summit. I'm gonna show y'all Summit. I'm gonna show y'all why if you ain't cracking half a ticket, yeah, you ain't gonna get up in there. We'll do a little mini, because I'm supposed to be getting to the light rail station. And right now we're on Lexington Parkway. Looks like they're getting ready to go on the bus. Those kids are probably getting ready to go down to the Science Museum. That was a big staple, going to the Science Museum. That was a big thing in Minneapolis. And I posted something. We're going to go down Grand. I'm going to use my HSA time. I was supposed to get into that. So, bam, I'm going all over the place. But there's so many different things that I want to cover. So, basically, I logged into my account. I was looking at PTO and all that. They said, well, Minnesota got sick time. You know what I'm saying? So they don't have contracting on this project that I'm working on. They don't have PTO until you work there a year. And I said, well, I don't even know if I'm gonna be there that damn long. They said it was gonna be 2 years. Uh-oh, there goes my essence analysis. It's gonna be some rebuttals on it, but I'm bringing receipts. We gotta clean, what John Henry Clark say, we gotta get our house in order. That's AYD Mill. I've always liked going across that street. Now I'm supposed to be going a different direction. I'm gonna tell y'all something about Saint Paul. This is a beautiful part of Saint Paul. I'm telling you, this is a real beautiful part of Saint Paul. Barbecue Chicken Hub. Okay, we're on Hamlin. Yeah, I'm supposed to be going the other way. I was supposed to be taking y'all down Summit. Okay, I think, let me just make a right here, then I'm gonna come back around, because I'm trying to keep going towards Minneapolis. I was supposed to be going on Selby. There's a detour on 51, which is Snelling for y'all don't know. But no, the Science Museum, we don't really have, we had the Bell Museum, that was in Northeast Minneapolis, or was that was Southeast Minneapolis, the Bell Museum. We had the Bell Museum. I need to bring my son there. There's a lot of beautiful museums that we do have here. But the Science Museum in Saint Paul, that really takes the cake. So Saint Paul, y'all got us. I ain't gonna lie. Saint Paul got us. So now I'm on Snelling, but they say Snelling's supposed to be closed off. It's a detour to Grand. So I'm kind of messed up in the game a little bit. This is gonna kind of bring me wherever. I don't really want to go this route, but I was gonna take a right for y'all, and I was gonna show you Summit. So we'll do that. You know what we'll do? Maybe we'll do that on August 1st. I was gonna show you what Summit looks like. I think I already have done that, but I was gonna show you what Summit looks like. I was gonna show you. I really lost my train of thought because I was gonna start cooking on something in a minute. But off to your right, now we're on Grand. Now, as you can see, they're doing a whole bunch of work on Grand. And I ain't gonna lie, Grand is Grand. Grand makes me feel like I'm in Edina. Have you ever been to Edina downtown? Not Edina Southdale Mall and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about Edina downtown. Or when you start getting into those 50s and those 60s up there, that little area. I'm gonna drive through there one day. I'll tell you a story real quick. This will be a little mini story. I was talking to this little nice little chocolate thing back around that time when I was going out to Edina. We went to go see a movie. I don't even remember what movie it was, but she used to, this is back before I had a car. So I had cornrows at that time. She used to braid my hair. I used to go over north and braid her hair. And her folks was into all kind of little stuff or whatnot, you know. So I used to have to go over to the north side to braid her hair, to get my hair braided. And one day, she was at her cousin's house. And we was just kind of talking and doing whatever, you know what I'm saying? And kind of like, it was like we were mini talking. It was real weird because she used to braid my hair. And she was like real street. She smoked cigarettes and everything. And she was like kind of ratchet, like real street, but she was quiet. she was real dark and she was quiet. You know what I'm saying? And she acted a lot older than what she was, but she really didn't. She was real quiet, but her folks was really, they were like real street folks. And I used to go over to the house and she used to braid my hair over north. And it was over there on Fremont, I think. And they shut that place down because folks was trapping up out of there and folks was having shootouts over there on that store. So I'm gonna show y'all that store one of these days. Next time I'm over north, I'm gonna show y'all that store and get a little bit of footage out of that store. I don't really like using a bunch of cameras over north because it just makes you look like a tourist or some shit like that, and it draws attention, you know. So I don't necessarily like just hopping out and doing all that there, you know. But for y'all, I might get y'all a little footage. But so now, back about Edina, we had to take the bus out there. This is Randolph right here. All around this area, this Randolph, this Grand and everything, it's real nice. I'm telling you, bro, it's nice. It's real nice. Randolph. So yeah, we had to go up there to Edina and we took the bus. And our relationship was kind of weird because I remember at one point she had an apartment. And I think I stayed the night over there a couple times and we didn't really do anything. We just, you know, and it was, I think what it was is I liked her personality, but I ain't like the damn cigarettes. And so like I brought her, I think I must have been on 34th and Clinton or something one time. She was over there with her cousin or whatever. And out of the blue, I just kissed her on the forehead. Like, I'll see you later. You know what I'm saying? And she ain't say nothing. So shit. So that's why, you know, when I asked, I said, you want to go out to the movies? And it was, you know, it was kind of weird. I ain't gonna lie, it was kind of weird, but ain't nothing happened or whatever. I just think that I didn't really want to, you know, deal with her folks too much or whatever at the time, because I don't know what it was. But anyway, so that's a little mini story about Edina. We'll go over in the 50s one of those days so you can see how beautiful it really is. And it's, you know, so-called upscale and whatnot. Now this is Highland Parkway right here. Now if I bust a right, I'll be on Highland Parkway. I can bring that all the way down. Highland Parkway, a lot of the Jewish community, they stay over here. They got that bread. As you can see, folks is looking kind of spiffy over here. Now this is the Ford Parkway. All right, this is the Ford Parkway. Now if you go off to the left, I think that's the University of Saint Catherine or something, one of those. They got that paper. And this is Ford Parkway. Ford Parkway, as you can see, they got some money around here. I'm giving y'all a little tour on my way to work. I'm giving y'all a little tour. I hope it gives me 30 minutes. If it runs out of space, don't worry about it. I'm gonna upload it as I can, and I'll put screenshots, you know, because YouTube don't let me edit it right then and there. So I'll do what I can. So Parkway, I'm probably gonna pause it to save some. When I'm at these lights, I'm gonna pause it. Parkway brings you all the way to Minneapolis to a certain degree. Okay? Look at the houses. You ain't gonna stay. I ain't never met a black person that stays over here. Now we're off of Fairview here, Fairview and Parkway. I rarely meet black folks that stay over here, even in the apartments. But it is black folks over here, but I never saw them. I never saw them. There used to be an old country buffet. They call it Golden Corral. They call it Golden Corral. We didn't call it Golden Corral. I think that was something in California, but Old Country Buffet is what they call it. We used to go there a lot when we was kids, you know, and we liked it because it was all you can eat. And I used to make this big old salad and all and whatnot, you know. But I think after the pandemic and everything, I ain't really want to, you know what I'm saying? I ain't really want to go over there. Now, see, the other way I was supposed to take y'all, it was supposed to be a different way. Now look at this area. Tell me if this area, this is almost like the suburbs, but it's not the suburbs. Okay? I used to go to this Xfinity over here. There was a Baker Square that was over here. They got a Five Guys over here. This is like the suburbs, y'all. This is a very beautiful area, You off of Cleveland right here. This is where I took that picture of that diabetes song that I had. There's RF Mueller's, so you know the jewelry store, RF Mueller. So you gotta have that bag to go up in there. You got Lunds and Byerly's. You got this crisp green salad place. You got the Wells Fargo. This place right over here on the right. It used to be a not a check cashing place. It used to be a it's called a Life Cafe right now, but it used to be some kind of, you know what I'm saying, exercise, you know, life fitness or something like that. Right off to the right, there was supposed to be a Baker Square. If you look to the left, if I could get that, all these apartment buildings, that's new. The Lunds and Byerly's is right in there's apartment buildings right above the Lunds and Byerly's. And it looks like they might be building more stuff. This used to be, this Ford Parkway right here, all that off to the left. You know what that used to be? Dirt. The Ford plant used to be here. Got some East African brothers over there. A lot of the East African brothers and sisters, they do the Wells Fargo thing. They like Wells Fargo. They really rock with Wells Fargo. I could tell they was from there because I could tell. We know. We could tell. Man, if y'all can see this right here, now the Baker Square used to be right there off to the right there. Now it's some Rise dispensary. They selling weed out this bitch. Damn. Man, this don't even look nothing like how I grew up. Off to the left, if y'all can see this shit, man, they got nothing but buildings. They got nothing but buildings. I might drive, man, I don't know. I might drive my way back. On the way back, I might, you know, drive from Minneapolis on the way back. Man, they got nothing but buildings. It used to be a Ford plant. I'm gonna see if I could take some pictures. Now we're going across the Mississippi right now, and we're gonna be in Minneapolis. Now we was just in Saint Paul, so I want y'all to understand how close Saint Paul, Minneapolis was. A lot of black folks that are from Minnesota, they got family in Saint Paul too. Sometimes they mainly gonna have family in Minneapolis, but they got family in Saint Paul. Best believe that. I've driven this road many moons, and if you keep going off to the far right, and this is 45th Avenue, off to the left, you keep going, you're gonna go by the what they call it, damn. If you go off to the right or the left, if you go off to the left, you are going to be you gonna be by what's that place called? You gonna go to the airport. Remember, I got stuck trying to go out by the airport and trying to see if I get a parking spot. This 46th and 46th Avenue bus line right over there. I could have just took a right on 46, but I ain't really want to do that. I need to grab that mono mic that what's the one dude that was telling me about? I was watching on Instagram. It's a brother that does all the food reviews. My foodie review, the tall nigga. He make that shit look good too. I'm telling you, it's remotely completely different. So you got to think about who's buying these apartments, who could afford these apartments. You know what I'm saying? Who can afford and buy all these apartments? You got to think about that. All right, off to the left, you see these are new buildings. This stuff never existed. All right, let's just go down Minnehaha. Hell, let's go down Minnehaha again. This is a staple. 46 to Minnehaha. Now, I wasn't able to drive through here that fast the last time I was with y'all, but I'm trucking it. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna park over south. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna park over south. Let them know I'm gonna be on my way to work, and I might come back over here for like another half hour if they still around. My uncle's in town, so Parkway Pizza. I think I might have ate there once. I think I ordered there when I was doing my studio time. At the Minnehaha One Stop, at the Minnehaha Recording Company, I was doing music out of there. My guy Tony, I ain't seen him in a long time. He done got married and everything. Let me see, is it on 46th or 42nd? But gifts and guidance of the soul. I don't know what that's about. I got stories upon stories on Minnehaha, man. Minnehaha Avenue it's changed over the years. I'll say the area would have been more of a middle class. You know, it's right by the airport. I have a lot of ups and downs dealing with Minnehaha. I was involved with the law in Minnehaha. I built a business on Minnehaha. I used to have my little late nights, you know, man, messing around with Minnehaha. I've built and abandoned traitorous relationships on Minnehaha. I'm talking about, like, if I go to backstories, like all kind of different things that was going on, but really between the periods of 2007 to really 2000, I'll say 2012 maybe. I used to shop there sometimes too. Salam restaurant. I think that's an Ethiopian spot. There, right here to the left, used to be a flower place. Is it still there? Oh no, it's right up here. Sometimes I come to this Super USA here and there. The flower spot right off here to the left. I need a better camera so I can really get y'all the footage. Is that still a flower spot? Man, that's a salon. Oh hell, they done made that a salon. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no chivalry's dead. Shit. I wonder if Mr. Dan is still there. Man, should I slide up here and see if Mr. Dan's still there? Let me see if I can pull up I'm supposed to be on my way to work. I'm about to pull up and see if Mr. Dan's still there. Damn, I can't go. Shit. That damn big ass truck was in the way. I was gonna see if Mr. Dan was still there. Mr. Dan used to fix on my car. We going right here, and then you see where this is. Right off to the right. This is where I used to have my store. It's a plumbing place now. I used to have my store. You know what I'm saying? Off of this building, I used to sell in this building. There's a building right here. I used to hustle in the building. They got an ice cream shop called the Minnehaha Scoop. I don't see nobody in there right now. Let me see if I can pick up the speed a bit. I used to walk all the way to work sometimes. I was broke some days. It was ramen noodles one day. Some days it was fucking turkey sandwich. Them nasty ass Deli Express turkey sandwich. And then some days it was steak. Some days I had a badass broad cooking me up some steak and eggs in the crib. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I was living. But, you know, I would never take it back, man, because, you know, I liked having my business. I like waking up at 5, 6 in the morning and telling somebody, hey, baby, you gotta move around. I gotta go to work. Well, can't I come and stay in the shop with you all day? No. I gotta work. I don't need no distractions. We back on Lake Street. This client is with Cap Gemini. We don't know the client. Yes, you do. I could tell because they said wealth management. So off right here, we have the very famous AutoZone that got burnt down by the suspected race soldiers, which I believe was connected with law enforcement. You have Wendy's. You got this brand new building that wasn't there at one point. You know, this is my old stomping grounds, of course. So that's why Minnehaha is so damn important. You know what I'm saying? You got Cub off to the left, of course. We gonna keep it down Minnehaha. I might just upload this for y'all. I may not even do no editing. I want to throw some stuff in there. I mean, I guess I could do it later. You know, if I upload it, but I want to make sure I upload it to where I got my memory. Off to the left right now, we on 28th and 26th. Off to the left, you got Qatar River Restaurant and Bakery, Ethiopian spot. I went in there one time. This is it right here. I'll deflect to some soul food, but I went in there one time. I'm not gonna. If you like that kind of food, you know, you're gonna do your thing there. But there's probably better options. I'll just say that. But you know, if you like it, I love it. But I've been in there one time. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't know. I felt like I was overpriced for what I got. You know, my brother, he be going up in there eating there sometimes, cause he got a lot of Ethiopia homies. You know what I'm saying? So they be going up in there eating and doing all that sometimes. So, but I think they be going to this other place called Dilla that's right over here by Cedar Riverside or somewhere. Is it called Dilla's or something like that? I don't know. But I just didn't like what I call it, the bread. My aunts and uncles, they man, whenever they come from Arkansas, they love to get that stuff. I call it styrofoam bread. They start laughing. I said, man, that styrofoam bread. I ain't like the bread. Because the bread just tastes, I don't know. I just didn't like the bread. So I call it styrofoam bread because it kind of got the little holes in it. And I don't know, it just reminds me of styrofoam for some reason. But I call it styrofoam bread. And I just never liked it. You know what I'm saying? But hey, if you like it, that's good. So now we a half hour in. I'm going to have to upload this stuff, because I ain't gonna have enough space. I don't know how much space I got. 30 minutes of video, you know what I'm saying? That's a lot. So I don't really want to park downtown. I'm gonna go ahead and brave the train today. I'm gonna put my Bethlehem in my pocket. I always keep my blade in Minneapolis. I ain't doing no scuffling with no niggas. If it's more than 2-3 people, you're getting it. You're getting it, sir. We not doing that. This is 24th, and this kind of, you're still on Minnehaha till a little ways. You know what I'm saying? So this is kind of the area. And remember I told y'all that little story about Minnehaha Avenue, that historic, that little chocolate thing that I used to serve CDs to and stuff like that. And she was trying to holler, at the time. Going a little too quick. Yeah, so my homies used to stay over here. I'll tell you a little story. Right here, my homies used to stay over in those little houses a long time ago, and I can't remember if they got raided or some of the other guys from the neighborhood backdoored. I think they were the ones they stole. They were stealing a bunch of shit from the nigga. You know what I'm saying? So I'll leave it at that. Load this stuff, man. I'm gonna park real quick. I gotta go over here. I'm gonna check into work. I'll probably be there within the next 20-30 minutes. Stay safe on them light rails, man. I'm telling you. Stay safe on them light rails, because those folks act a damn fool. So I'm going to go ahead and check in, get over there, and I'm going to get with y'all. Right here, kind of around where the dude got shot at. It's kind of over here, but I think it's actually down this way. Now, I don't know if y'all can see it. I'm kind of glad I walked. This is Minnehaha right here. So I might add this to it. Not sure what bus that is. I ain't seen a bus like this in a minute. That's a number 9. It goes to 46th Street Station. I think that comes from North Minneapolis. I need to come up with like a better way, because I need to keep my phone. Got cell phone towers up there, you can see. So sometimes they have those little programs for people like low income. This wasn't here before. And it says Verizon response. So you could see that cell phone tower is probably 5G 9 times out of 10. Yeah, we get on foot. Last time I was out here in the winter, so it was real bad. That's the Indian Health Board. You have a lot of natives. Well, damn, they said Indian. Okay, I'm just gonna call it Indian. What the hell we calling it politically correct for? Fuck that. Our grandmas used to say Indians. Some of our grandmas might have been native, or a little piece of native, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So as you can see, they got the security here. That's the Taco Bell, and that's for lease. So I don't know what people are gonna do with that, but I don't think they could do much with it. I think it's kind of messed up. Fire station, of course. This used to be a bar right over here. Used to be some little bad chicks over here sometimes. It was called the Blue Nile. Yeah, it was called the Blue Nile. So I went in there one time. I think when I went in there, I was driving. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna stop recording after a while. I need to look alive pretty soon. You see, we didn't have this when we was a kid. You know, it's all digital now. Back down to the left, you have the Native Projects. That's to the left. To the right, you have the Cedar Riverside Projects. And then now you have the American Indian AIC, as you call them, Indians. See, more footage. This is the American Indian OIC. Sometimes they have some IT programs through Dakota. You know what I'm saying? So just wanted to grab that real quick. You can see the fences. Yeah, Minneapolis has allowed it to get like this. You see people under here with tents. So I'm going to look alive in a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure. My brother takes these all the time, so I'm not really sure what's going on, but yeah, the area done got real treacherous and everything. So let me put this camera down so I don't get into nothing. So now we at Nickel and Mall. Y'all can't hear me. We at Nickel and Mall. So this is another very important part of my childhood, especially the Neiman Marcus over there. They used to be called Dayton's. They call them Marshall Fields. Right over there you see the city center way in the back. We're gonna go down here. Now this building used to be something else. Over here, this is where my good brother I love, Stack Doe. What he would do is he called me up. I was on the number 18 and he called me up to brag like, yeah, I got that new Godson. I got that before you. Now this used to be the Excel building. They called it the NSP building. But this whole building right here, this used to be Rocky Rococo. And there'd be a club. There was a club called BC. And my good homie that passed, he always talked about buying this club. The club was right here. I think it was right here. Was it right here? I think it was right here. The Excel Energy building is new. But all of this right here used to be right here. Rocky Rococo. And was there a Walgreens or something? Or the whole strip was a bunch of different stuff. So everything's changed, man. That's one thing about life. Is gonna happen. It's gonna change. So I'm gonna see y'all in a minute. I ran out of space, y'all. I just want to show y'all. This is Fort Snelling. Now I'm gonna do this a little bit and get a little bit more information. But I'm way out here. My camera's messed up. I got to get more storage. So I just want y'all to know, man, this is where everything happened with Dred Scott.